No, that's not acceptable. Nope. So I've watched quite a few like you know, healthy, like 10 healthy habits videos, or lifestyle and changes, you know, healthy habits to change your life or whatever, and it's always like, I wake up, I meditate for 5 hours, I drink hot water with lemon, I have a green juice, I write in my journal for 4 hours, I lie in the sun naked, and then I take a massive shit. And it's just like, really? So maybe, so hopefully you'll find this one a little bit more realistic. I'm sure you'll be able to relate to like most of my points and things that what I've had to change in the last year in order to improve the quality of my mental and physical health. Yeah. Was that my intro?
Can't think, can't sleep, can't breathe.
I was sitting down and thinking about, actually, I'll tell you what sparked it, right? I watched one of my videos from about a year ago, and I was like, even though it wasn't just, because some of these points are about diet, and the other ones are about lifestyle and relationships and just things like that, but I was like, it wasn't so much the food where I was like, wow, there's a lot of change now. It was also just remembering what state of mind I was in when I filmed those videos, and I was like damn, like my life has changed a lot in the last year, and mainly for the better. And that's because I have like intentionally worked on things that I really needed to work on. Yeah, so there are definitely some things which, some of them are very simple things, but some of them are just like things that it was like about time to work on them, you know? You know what I'm saying? God, I am not gonna lie, I just came back from the gym and I have not refueled properly. This curtain is still pissing me off. One thing that I've spoken about recently in videos as well, so it's probably not gonna come as a big surprise to you, but it is something that has massively changed my physical health, well actually, and my mental health too, and that is simply prioritizing protein in my diet. It's not as if I was one of those dumb vegans before that just like didn't think protein was important, or you know, thought that life was all about carbs. Yes, some of those people still exist. It wasn't as if I was eating like a very low protein diet. There was one point where I felt very unsatisfied, and it was because for me, I need a lot of fat and I wasn't eating enough. I increased it and I felt amazing. But I didn't know how amazing it would feel on top of that to additionally add more protein. And like I said, looking back at those videos, it wasn't low protein because of the amount of fat I've always eaten from things like hemp seeds, which hemp seeds are like 50% of my diet and 50% of my outgoings and money because they're so bloody expensive, and walnuts and almond butter and tahini, of course. Like the amount I was eating, I was always getting like enough protein. I've never under eaten on protein or anything, or eaten like a stupid very high carb, low fat, boring diet. But now, as you will have seen over the last 6 months, and as I've explained in like multiple of my previous like recent videos, prioritizing things in my meals like beans, like chickpeas, like more tofu, and with the addition of a protein shake every single day, I can't tell you the difference it has made. Like I said, I thought I felt good before, and I did feel good. I wasn't kidding myself and I wasn't kidding you. But the thing with me is I have always had an insatiable appetite, and I'm not just talking since I've been vegan. In fact, it was much worse before I was vegan. I don't know what is wrong with me in this particular area. Basically my whole life I've just been an eating machine. That's just the best way to describe me. And again, even in the last year, in the videos that I've shown you, they've all been like 100% authentic and honest and how I've been thriving at the time. But with the addition of more protein, my black hole of a stomach has become somewhat a lot more satisfied, a lot more satiated. Yeah, just always feeling more satisfied, energy always a lot more balanced, meals also a lot more enjoyable because things like tofu and chickpeas you can roast in certain ways, you can fry in certain ways. And again, like I think the biggest thing is the addition of my protein shake, which I drink every single day. And you all know that I drink the best one in the world, which is Vivo Life, which is a raw vegan one, but the flavors, mate. My Vivo Life manager the other day was just saying like, Miles, do you even use the other flavors? Like you're draining our supply of salted caramel. And I was like, but yeah, again, my goal is not to be a bodybuilder, and also because of my natural frame and the sport that I was in, I'm never going to be huge upper body. But since adding more protein, I'm able to lift heavier, my workouts are better, my recovery time is better, and yeah, and the main thing is just feeling more physically and mentally satisfied after meals. Can't even tell you. Okay, so the second thing that I have worked on a lot in the last year, and actually I think it's probably the most difficult one. Actually no, it might be. I think number 3 might be the most difficult. But yeah, lesson number 2 that I've worked on a lot is being more fluid. Being more fluid in life, being more flexible. I don't mean like physically flexible. I mean, I am very physically flexible as well. To be honest, I still struggle with this up until a year ago, until some incredible people came into my life, which I'll talk about in a minute. I have always struggled with this big time, and that's, I guess it's because of the way that I was brought up, right? I was in a sport, in a profession, like playing professional sport throughout my teens, but also training in sport since the age of 3. Not living a normal life and having that repetitive routine from the age of 3. And then as I got older, it was just like travel, eat, sleep, train, compete, and repeat, right? And so I have always been someone that, I guess you could say, thrived with structure, but also it's fucked me up. It did fuck me up big time, because of course, when I left the sport, when I left that lifestyle, when my life completely changed, I basically didn't know how to live. You know, a lot of us, when we are those kind of people, whether you've had a similar upbringing to me, or you just are someone who has gone through emotional or physical issues, we do have a tendency to put up scaffolding, right? Because that scaffolding keeps us safe. Perhaps there's something we're trying to avoid emotionally, or we feel like we don't have control in other areas of our life. The problem is, even though that scaffolding can keep us safe sometimes, it can quickly turn into your own prison, where you feel very trapped. Even as an adult, even up until last year, I still had a very regimented life where, don't get me wrong, I've always been blessed with amazing friends and had like somewhat of a good social life, but even that sometimes got damaged. I would have to go to the gym at a certain time, and I would want to eat at a certain time, and if a friend wanted to see me, it had to fit in with my schedule. Whatever I was doing had to be kind of pre-planned. But yeah, learning to break that scaffolding, which now I've pretty much done, still not fully there, but like a long way along the way. Smashing those routines that I'd given myself and I thought had kept me safe for so many years. Like I said, I ended up essentially in my own prison, because it had just taken over my life and it was affecting other areas of my life, including work and social and sexual. In the last year, I feel like I have a whole new family because I let those barriers down and I just allowed myself to live, be free, take risks as well. Well, I guess it's just opened up my eyes to the world, because like it's almost like my blindfold has been taken off, because I'm not living in my own cage. And I've always said, like, sometimes it's easier to live in your prison because at least you know where the walls are, right? I appreciate life more, I appreciate nature more, I appreciate people more, and like it's just opened my eyes up to a whole new world. Well, it's essentially opened my eyes up to the world, which I was blocking myself off from before. Do you dare me to take a sip without putting a slurp noise in for once? You thought. Okay, the third one is, and this is what has allowed my relationships to flourish. In order to understand this next step that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to need to explain a little bit of something. And that is that one thing that I do, when people get too close, I push them away. And I have a big fear of rejection, and I know where it comes from. And even this is something that I still struggle with today. But one thing that is helping with that massively is setting boundaries with friends, and also just being completely transparent with friends, always being honest about how I feel, and also warning them. Essentially, this step is warning friends about me and my behaviors. And I know this probably sounds a bit weird. I mean, I don't mean like my behaviors like I might turn up and murder them, like I'm not a danger to anyone. So maybe I can call this one warning people about me, because I experienced a lot of rejection as a child, as a teenager, constant rejection from like big figures in my life, and on top of that, a lot of physical abuse. Like, hate to get a little bit deep, but you know, I speak as someone that was beaten up very badly as a child, and actually when I was a teenager too, beaten black and blue by, I don't really need to name the person, but you probably know who it is, because I think I've said it before. But anyways, okay, my camera just turned off and I do not know what I was saying. I essentially would get very close with someone, whether it's a friend, whether it's a relationship, whether it's just whatever. I've even done this with family, and I would push them away purposely. At the time I didn't know I was doing it, but now I'm very conscious of it. People that I love so intensely, I'm so afraid that I'm gonna lose them, that in my mind it's easier to push them away first, so at least I'm in control of the situation. Do you know what I mean? I feel like some of you know what I mean. And this is something that I've done repeatedly throughout my life, and I mean like repeatedly. I have picked arguments with friends, I have started arguments with friends, I've made big issues out of things that didn't need to be big issues as a form of pushing them away first before I got rejected. I'm not saying that they were going to reject me, I don't know, maybe they were, but the thing is I became very conscious that this was a repetitive pattern of mine, and also certain, like, God bless, honestly, God bless the two, especially the two closest people to me, Anna and Fitzy. Don't know what I would do without them, and also I don't know how they've put up with me throughout all of this, but God bless them. And one thing I've done in the last, especially in the last few months, which has just been very freeing for me, but also helped me to build stronger relationships and maintain them, is, like I said, warning people about my behaviours. Like, I have literally sat down with some of the closest people to me, especially a lot of the people that you've seen in my videos, and I've been like, look, I know that I'm like this, you know how close we are, you know how much I love you and value you, but one thing that I'm prone to do is to push people away that when they get too close, because I fear that rejection. If I'm being really open and honest, I still don't feel like I'm worthy of love, of unconditional love, and sometimes when people are too nice to me, it makes me feel very uncomfortable still. I have a very wise friend that always says, you know, we don't crave the love that we need, we crave the love that is familiar, and it's just the most true statement of all time. In my whole life, it has always, and it still does to this day, it feels almost wrong when someone is nice to me. I almost start questioning things, and I'm like, but this can't be real. Like, surely this person has other intentions just because I've been wronged so much in the past. Again, we can't dwell on the past, right? There might be things there that still affect us. Why I've had to work on that now was because I didn't feel worthy of having amazing people, because like most of my previous experiences have been like very violent, very abusive, and very neglective from people that I trusted. So for me to now put trust in people and then understand that that relationship, that trust, that love is unconditional, and they love me for me and not because I'm a product or something, has been difficult to accept. And like I said, it still makes me feel uncomfortable when people are nice to me, like too nice to me, and when they're there for me unconditionally. I guess saying to myself internally, like, yes, Miles, you deserve this, like, you're a good person. I mean, I'm kind of a good person. I am someone that always shows people unconditional love, always, always, always. Like I said, the person that was doing that to me in the past, even like I've forgiven, because I just feel like, I don't know why, maybe I shouldn't have, but it's just that I love people too hard. Not in that way. Actually, yes, in that way. And also allowing myself to experience happiness. I guess this could be a whole point in itself. So a big thing for me is just, when I feel happiness, just embrace it. Understand that you deserve that. Understand that being happy is an important part of life. It is, you know, being happy is a human emotion that we need, that we thrive off. And I know this sounds so stupid and so simple to say that, but I'm also someone that felt like I didn't deserve happiness. Because for me, happiness was something that was a reward. Happiness was something that you only get, or you're allowed to have, if you achieve a certain thing or a certain status or a certain amount of money. Okay, so the next one is kind of a stupid one, but also I feel like, and I say this as someone that is on social media, you know, we are living in a world where we are addicted to our phones and we communicate through phones. We are essentially, and I've been guilty of this previously, is we're checking an object up to like 50 times a day. And just imagine the parts of our life that we are neglecting, that are our actual real life. But just turn your phone off. Just turn your bloody phone off. Like, that is the thing. Like, have your phone on for like 4 or 5 hours a day. Reply to the people that you love. Be responsible. Reply to business things, you know, get shit done. And again, I say this as someone that is on social media as part of my job, on YouTube and on Instagram. And do you know how tempting it is to like open the Creator Studio app and see how many views your last video got, or read all the comments that are flowing in? Or I have a rule now that whenever I go out with friends, whether we go for dinner, whether we just are talking, even when I'm on my own in evenings, because of course I live alone, and if I'm not with friends or with family, some evenings I'm alone, is just having a cut-off point, turning the damn phone off at like 7:30 or 8, and after that spending time with myself, which to be honest has been pretty scary at some times. I'm not gonna lie. That has allowed me to realize all of these things that I'm talking about in this video. When you mute that noise, that noise of the world of pictures and other people's voices and messages flowing in, you are, well, I was gonna say you're allowed. You then have to, you're forced to spend time with yourself, and it's those moments when you start to realize things. And it's also those moments when I essentially mute the world and just put that phone on damp airplane mode. That's when my creative side comes out and I get ideas. And also when your phone's on, put your apps that have notifications like text messages, WhatsApp, well for me it's like obviously YouTube notifications, which actually I have all turned off anyway. Like have all your notifications turned off, have them on the second page of your phone. So only you'll see them and you can deal with them when you are ready for them, and you're not constantly with a phone in your hand that's getting pinged every 5 minutes, because that's not allowing you to live in the moment. I know this sounds so simple, but trust me, it's life-changing, okay? So mute the phone, turn it off. It's an object, it's not life. The last one is, and I spoke about this maybe like 3 videos ago, I don't know when this is gonna go up, and I know this might sound stupid coming from someone that spent years of my life studying nutrition and then working in nutrition, but I think the biggest healing thing for me this year, both mentally and physically, is not caring about food. I mean, I still care about food, as in I love food, I love eating food, I love preparing food, I love sharing food with friends that I love. But like I've said before, now I see food as a source of enjoyment, not just a source of nourishment, not just something to analyze and how much zinc, how much calcium, how much this, how much that, what are the macros. Like for me, like I said, the reason I removed myself from that world was because I got over obsessed with it, and I don't mean in terms of it was affecting my eating patterns, but it was just the way I viewed food is not how I think food should be viewed. You know, being obsessed with everything you put in your mouth, you know, you can be someone that eats whatever the cleanest, like whole foods, plant-based diet, whatever that is. You can be someone that eats that but still worry so much about food, is anal about avoiding oil and salt and sugar and how many calories they're eating. And you know what? These are just some of the most depressing, awful distractions in life, and they cripple people, and obviously it crippled me in the past as well. But yeah, a big thing for me in the last year is just not caring about food. And when I say that, I don't mean not loving food. I love food more. Why am I in this position?
Now just throw your hands in the motherfucking air.
Yeah, I love food more now that I don't care about it that much. What I mean is I am not going to waste another second of my life, considering I wasted years on it. And yeah, I know this might sound weird considering I am a nutritionist. I spent years studying nutrition at college and then years practicing nutrition in all of the clinics that I worked in. I am not going to waste another second of my life over analyzing food. Yes, it's important for all of us to nourish our bodies, to be somewhat aware and to be conscious and to be sensible about our intake, to make sure that we are eating healthily and giving our body what it needs. But on top of that, like I've said before, people just go beyond. People just go beyond, like way fucking beyond. How sad is your life that that is the main thing you think about, or the main thing that you preach? There's a big difference between intuitive and careless. I'm not careless, I'm intuitive, as in, like I spoke about earlier in the video, to do things that benefit my body, my mental and physical health, like eat a lot more protein now. But I don't sit there and overanalyze. All I'm saying is now I see food as enjoyment. I just see it as enjoyment. I love preparing it for people that I love. I love eating it from people that have made it for me. I love making it look pretty for Instagram. I love showing you guys different delicious recipes that are also healthy. Nourishment is not just about food. And I used to think of health just in terms of what you put in your body. But actually it's all of these external factors, like, you know, friendships, relationships, touch. Touch is a big one for me as well. I don't know if it's a part of my Persian culture. Any other Iranians out there, let me know. But like for me, touch is a big thing, like hugging. I will hug and kiss all of my friends, whether they're male or female, and whether they like it or not. They're gonna get hugged and they're gonna get kissed, and they all know this. And community and different activities and just nature, all of these things are just as nourishing for the soul, for the body, as food. Not caring about eating the perfect vegan diet in the last year has actually just helped my health thrive. And I think it's because my levels of stress around food have gone down so much that essentially it's just helped my body thrive, removed a lot of unnecessary garbage from my brain that didn't need to be there, and it's also allowed me to be intuitive. So yeah, I just don't care. Just don't care. Again, I'm not telling you guys to be careless, I'm telling you guys to be conscious. And remember that health is not just about what you put in your body, it's about all those important external factors as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts and your comments and the stuff that you can relate to down below. I'm sending you all so much love. Remember that we can't have the TLC outro anymore. I explained it in my last video. but you can wrap it to yourself as always. So lots of love, and I'll see you later. Bye.